Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design, God design.
Boer buddies, what up, Boer buddies? What's the deal? Oh yeah! Thank you for joining me today. It's a great day. It's one of the best times in history of 2000 of world history. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we going way up, y'all. It's time. Oh, it's time. It's time, y'all. Did you know? Did you know what time it is? It's time for the Boerboel show. Yeah, that's where we get down. This is where we talk about the best dog on earth, the most fantastic breed that you could possibly have. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad to be here because it's a whole lot of places that I could be. But I'm here with you. I'm everywhere but the electric chair. My name is Jordan Pittman, and I'm your host. And if you don't know, if you haven't been here before, this is the Boerboel show where we aim to empower you with knowledge, information through our experiences of over 15 years in the breed. I'm trying to get it going on Instagram. But, here we go. Through our experiences, through our intimate relationship with these dogs, we're going to empower you. We're going to prepare the next generation of Boerboel breeders, owners, and enthusiasts. We're going to give you the tools and the news that you can use. We're going to tell you everything that right now, we're going to break it down. We got a couple of updates, but we're going to break it down today. Boerboel queens, Boerboel females. Because, hey, I've seen a whole lot of misinformation out there, so I'm going to give it to you straight now. Later, I'm going to give it to you straight from the source, from the root. I'm going to take you we're going to go through history. We're going to take a look at some of the previous breed, some of the best dogs that ever produced. Auntie Dan, what's up? Who is hot in here today? What's going on? Give a dog a bone. Give a dog a bone, nick, patty whack. Give a dog a bone. Let me know you in here. What's up? Y'all talk with me. I talk back. Listen, this is a great time. The Boerboel breed is on fire. It's smoking hot. It's one of the most hottest breeds out right now, and it's going to be that way from now to the foreseeable future. So we got a lot of people coming in. We're trying to give you this truth information because, hey, it's important. And you hear these stories and you hear this folklore. Let me bring it up to you. Let me give it to you. Part of the reason that we're doing this is because I see a lot of attraction. I'm getting calls every day, 20, 30 calls, it seems like every day. And I'm happy, but I'm answering a lot of the same questions over and over again. So in order to answer, I think the reason that the people have the questions is because the information is not out there. So let me square you up. We have a lot of, it's been said, I hear people asking oftentimes about the female, how big is the female? And then, she's a little bit small. And that's how we like it. We don't need them gigantic. We got big, top-notch males, big boys. And to be honest, throughout history of the breed, historically, some of the most prominent producing females are some really teeny, tiny, non-exaggerated, thin bone, smaller heads, petite, very petite females. And I got the evidence and I got the proof. I'm going to go into today some of the most prominent producers in the history of the breed. We're going to go and show some examples of some of those. We're gonna go against some of those examples of what they produce. We're gonna show some of their offsprings. We're gonna show some of the immediate offsprings, and it's kind of gonna be like a journey through history. So you can get a chance if you don't know. Stay tuned. You're gonna get some valuable information if you're interested and curious about these Boerboels. I can tell you from experience because I've had a lot of experience handling puppies, raising puppies. And one of the first things that we're going to address is this folklore. A lot of people will say, and I'm sure if you have not heard this before, that a puppy is made from 65% of the female's genes and 35% of the male genes. Now, why would someone say something like that? Because we both know in genetics, female is 50% of the female, 50% of the male. They come together, and then that's how you end up with your puppy. So where does this 65%, 35% come from? Part of that is due to the fact that female is going to be a strong presence in the litter. She's going to carry the puppies prenatally. She's also going to be there for the puppies for the first 6 to 8 weeks of their life and their existence. So she's going to have a strong influence on the outcome of each individual puppy. She's going, if you got a timid mom, they're going to pick up on from her example. If you got an aggressive mom, same thing. If you got a mom that is lacking in her care, that's going to influence the puppies. How they are they clean? Are they neat? Are they pooping and where they sleep? The mom is directly influencing on that. A lot of times we big gigantic females, we looking for those big heads, we looking for those big chests, but it's already we hear it time and time again. If you look at the breed standard, oh, we're gonna talk about the breed standard too. We're looking at the breed standard, it desires, it requires a more feminine female. Some people will say, scratch that, man, I want that she-male. And that's pretty much the influence. A lot of that's coming from, I don't know where it's coming from, but you see that often in the bully breed where you have these massive females with a big chest. I mean, exaggerated chest, cock, neck muscles all across the neck, muscles all across the front end. This male, a manly looking female. Well, that can be problematic for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to cover that today. We're going to talk about that. But before we get into these dogs, let's talk a little bit about the politics. Did y'all see what just happened this week? Did y'all see what they were talking about? It's something that I've been discussing for the longest. We're talking about diversity within the breed. The SABBS just moved to include the Dilute. They took a vote. Now, some people got different opinions of why that's happening. Some people say it's a money-making thing. They want to involve some other colors. Some people say, well, like I've been saying, we're facing some trying times. We can't afford. We had a very small gene pool to begin with. We can't afford to eliminate dogs based off the color for strictly no other reason than the color, because we throw away a lot of the different variants of the breed. And genetics come in packages. It's not just limited to the color. It also has more than it has so much influence on other different areas of the dog. So, what's up, Doug? What I would like to do before we go deep off in, I just wanted to let y'all know that they had that vote. I wanted to kind of get some ideas about what did y'all think about that. And let me throw this link up because guess what? It's an open platform and everybody is welcome to join. If you decide that you would like to chime in and you got some valuable insight and input, we welcome you. But just remember to keep it respectful. Disrespect will not be tolerated here. We want to keep it kids friendly. Remember, we're doing this for generations to come. We ain't trying to get blocked off Facebook and Instagram and YouTube with all of the belligerent, the type of stuff that people do. Keep it respectful. There's a lot of people that feel empowered with the internet and they can just get behind that keyboard. But hey, you can feel that way. We don't have to agree. Come on in. Just remember to be respectful. Remain respectful. Respectful is required at all times. And it's not an option. I mean, it ain't hard to do. So yeah, I want to know what do y'all think about that. I have been saying it for some time now. What's up, doggy? Where you been? What I've been saying for the longest. We are in a trying times. How do I know? Because I do my homework and I do my research, and I'm looking at qualified breeding candidates. I'm always seeking out the best dogs. And what I keep running into is all of these dogs is related. All of these dogs share the same common ancestors. So I know it's not just me. It's got to be everybody got to be seeing this. So we're getting into we're at the age where it's required. Hey, look, they got to do something. So this is part of what they decided to do. They took a vote to include the dilute, which is the blues, what we call it. And everybody have a different name, or they, all of these different breeds. They tend to come up with different names to kind of like make it seem like it's way more special than it actually is. They'll say, for example, if you got 5, 6 different variations of tan or brown, some people call it buckskin in the bully world or apricot. So I've heard all different kind of things, blues, dilutes. They have all different kind of variations, what they like to say, use these words. They oftentimes confuse people. But we're talking about the blue dogs. Remember, they had how the way that they did the black dog, and I'm expecting them to start accepting all colors at some point. But this is part of what I discussed when we talk about standards, standardized breeding, how people worship the breed standard, and how that could be problematic because the breed standard is evolving. It's a guide. It's not the be all end all. It doesn't make or break your dog if it doesn't mirror the standard. I feel as though breeders should have their own standard as well as the breed standard. A breeder should be able to outline and tell you his goals and ambitions. Why am I making this parent? What do I expect from the outcome? What are the different outcomes that I'm expecting? What am I seeing in the parents? What am I seeing in the ancestors? Why did I choose this combination? A lot more goes into it than a nice male and a nice female, because that could appear that way, but how did we arrive there? It's a lot of factors that come into play. Yeah, man, it really is. Yeah, it's blue Boerboels, and it hasn't been because they're not accepted by SABBS, so you don't see them often. A lot of times, what they'll do is they just pull them away. They disappear. And you got different variations of the blues. You see them coming out, and even some brown dogs. You have like the Formentino, the blue mask with the brown dog, and so that is common. You see it in the Corsos and a couple other different breeds. And that when you have that diluted mass that doesn't have the strong pigment, it's not desired by the breed standard, so people kind of shy away from it. More and more breeders are producing the blue fawn mass, so you're going to see people move towards acceptance. And when that happens, we start to add in unknown genetics. Now, who knows where these dogs come from? It's an open registry. If you go back to our interview with the chairman, he spoke on what up, Joe? The chairman spoke on it. How do we plan to address, and I'll post a link to that interview. How did we plan? Because I asked him specifically, how did we plan to address diversity within the breed? How did we plan on? And he said it, he spoke on it. So I'm gonna post a link to that video if y'all ever want to go back and check out the whole thing. You're welcome to. The link is in the chat. You're welcome to join today. But we're talking about let's get back on to the subject at hand, because I got some great examples that I want to share with you all too. I also have these pages. So we're going to take a look at some prominent dogs, world respected, prominent producers in the breed. And it's important to highlight these dogs because mostly I see 80 to 90% of our dogs in the breed are going to carry these two ancestors, one, if not both, one or the other, if not both. So let's get into these dogs. First up, we got Dr. Nina. You don't know who this is? Oh, this is Leo Neon. We can start with Leo Neon. They both look similar. And I want everybody to take a real close look at Leo Neon. She's not very thick boned. She's not very tall. You see that the head is kind of refined. It's a little small. You don't see a whole lot of height. You don't see a whole lot of excess weight. You don't see heavy muscling. All of the things that we desire in the male, or we look at it to be impressive, we don't see that she doesn't carry a whole lot of that. Leo Neon was responsible for producing some of the foundations for a couple different bloodlines. You see some of the dogs that she produced, for example, Nostrus, Lilac. She was often paired with Xantha Boston. This is a historic combination, and I'll show you some other dogs that she produced. But these dogs, look at how many of these dogs, and you can go back in your pedigrees and you'll see these are some phenomenal dogs, okay? Xantha Boston, Leo Neon. There's so many offspring off this dog. You can see that she had over 40 offspring. So that's a great indication of her fertility, for one. When you see a female dog that was bred and had produced this many puppies, that's a good indication that she was a valuable producer. When you see another good indication of a valuable producer is how does she produce with different males, right? So we see her paired with Grassland Bronto. We see her paired with Xantha Boston. And Xantha Boston is a prominent producer, well respected. See him often in some great pedigree. So let's get into some of his some of that. I want to give you some actual factual examples. All right, let's look at Xantha Boston, and he produces Nostrus Tyson, one of my favorite Boerboels. And again, you see Leo Neon in the back. And here's her, and that also brings us to one of our other prominent producers, Doper Nina, or Dopper Nina, however you want to say it. But Dopper Nina, historic producer of the breed, some of the most legendary Boerboels, some of the most beautiful dogs that I have ever seen, in my opinion. Some high-scoring dogs, some dogs that were able to travel the world and produce again. Well, before we get into some of her offspring, let's take a strong look at her. Again, you're not seeing, well, she looks pretty strong, a little bit more stronger than the other dog, Leo Neon. But what is the common features? We don't see an exaggerated bone, exaggerated muscling, that very big head. She's got a nice head. Everything is like a male, but it's kind of like a miniature male, which is what you would expect. You don't want a masculine, exaggerated female, in my opinion, in my experience. And it's not because I don't have them, because I have, and I do have had several. In fact, I have some of the largest female Boerboels in the history of the breed. And I'm gonna give you another example here. I'll show you one of my dogs that we had in the past. That was a great dog, but again, like I said, bigger ain't always better. Now I had this female dog, and she was at the time was humongous, 176 pounds. And I'll show you her. Just give me 1 second. Let me show you this dog. So we're not biased. We're not biased because we don't have large females, because we do. And I'll show you this dog as an example of one of the largest dogs in the history of the breed. This is our female dog. This was back in prior to 2020. My man, White. What's up, White? See him near us. one of my breed partners. Remember, exotic Boerboel family. It's not just me. We got a whole bunch of team. It's a team
That's what it
sport
got to
for
last
us.
time.
And you see this dog is
So, yeah,
coming
it's
in
up
at
there. It goes. Yep, it's hovering
176
around that
pounds.
size again.
We like to
All
put
right.
dogs on the scale. Like, we not gonna just scream out weights. This is a 176 pound legit female, 176 pounds on the scale. Now, I chose to mention this dog specifically because she was a big and impressive dog. But when it comes to breeding and producing, we got 3 puppies
That's what
out
it got
of
to last
Lord
time.
was her name,
So, yeah,
and
it's
none
up
of
there. It
them
goes. Yep,
turned
it's
out
hovering
to
around that size
be
again.
worthy of inclusion in for our next generation. And we had great expectations for her, but she was a horrible mom. She didn't have a whole lot of milk. She had complications whelping. Remember, I don't know if you remember or not, but she had like puppies pushing on her bladder. We had to take her to the vet. She had to have C-section.
So, yeah, it's up there. It
All
goes. Yep,
kind
it's
of
hovering around
loose
that size
fluid
again.
juice was coming back there from her
you.
back end. It was just a nightmare for breeding. So it's not the fact that we don't have them. We got them, and we've been had them, and that ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing to be like really bragging. That ain't nothing to like, because the true measure of the dog is,
so, yeah, it's up there. It goes. Yep,
how
it's
does
hovering
it
around that size
produce?
again.
And I'll go over
right.
this. I'll say this again and again. The true measure of a breeding specimen is not the individual before your eyes, but is what was this dog able to produce? Did the dog produce better than itself? That is the true measure of a breeding dog. So when you're looking at potential,
That's what it got to last time.
ability to contribute to the breed,
So, yeah, it's up
the
there.
larger
It goes. Yep, it's
female, in
hovering
my
around that size again.
experience, has not been as valuable, has not been as prominent. When you start comparing her to her sister, one of the other dogs that we used, Coda had 56 puppies. She was a natural whelper for a long time. We did have to have a couple C-sections with her, but she was small. She wasn't as big. She was refined, 131 pounds versus 176.
That's what it got to last time.
And she produced another small female
So,
that
yeah,
we
it's
had,
up there.
was
It goes.
Dr.
Yep, it's hovering around that size
which is
again.
the granddaughter of
Right.
Dopamine. She was a great producer. So I want to, now that we have that understood, I'm going to show you a couple of her offspring so you can kind of get familiar with the type of quality that this dog was producing. Dopamine right here. Like, this is a dog. Check out Dopper, Dominic. I don't know if I ever went over this again, but it's some great information. And I think that it is worthy to be shared over again if you haven't seen it. So this was a historic breeding again. Like I said, you're going to see this if these dogs. This is some history of the breed. A lot of the modern people may not be aware of these dogs. If you haven't been in the breed or you don't break down pedigrees all the way to the back, then you might not know this. Some good information though, because these are valuable contributors. And if you have these dogs, it might be something that you want to seek out if you don't have them, because now you got this diversity, and this is certified breeding producers. So let's go back again. So offsprings of Dopamine. I don't know how y'all liked it. How did y'all like Dominic? Here go a true legend of the breed, Dopper Madala. And you see a different sire. So this is again an example of a dog's capabilities to breed can she be paired with multiple sires. And you see they also bred her to Martins. Ronald Martins was another prominent producer. But I feel like a lot of the credit should go back to Dopernina, which is not often it's talked about. Hold on. Pardon me, board buddies. Hold on. I need to see what's going on because I got a call. I need to see what's going on out here. Hold on. Pardon me. Hold on. Hello. Yeah. Sorry about that, boy buddies. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, boy buddies. I'm back. What up? What's going on with my people down? Man, I'll be so excited. Yes. Woo! Vivian is 168. Yeah. So that could be problematic. So it's a good thing that you exercise her a lot and often. What's up? What's going on, Tim? What's going on? Doggy celestial being. Thank you for joining and thank you for dropping them dogs in the house. So what I was saying though, you know, another example, a lot of times what happens with the females, the males tend to get a lot of the publicity, or the males tend to get a lot of the credit because we all are drawn to this big, impressive dog. You look at, you know, some of the males are always going to be more impressive. They're going to be more eye-catching. So we tend to really put a great emphasis on a male, but that every male behind them is a good female. Every strong male behind them is a good female. Here go another one, 309 Bruno. Let's see who they grade him. Look, and we're gonna go a little further than this. So here we go again. Another breeder, another male, and this female is able to produce quality offspring. That is a true testament to her ability to breed. So we love to see that variety. We don't want, you know, this is how it's ideal. This is ideal. You take your female, you go seek out, let this be a lesson. Let this history teach us how to properly breed the Boerboel. Look at some of the successes of breeders in the past. Look at how they were able to take their female, or what they did was they took their female and bring it to the top males, some of the most highly sought after genetics, and by them breeding them, and they're able to reproduce 3 or 4 different varieties of this genetic combo. Me, myself, personally, I have mimicked that same breeding style. If you look at what we did with Coda, we took Coda, we bred her to Cairo, we bred her to some in-house males, we bred her to Bagheera, we bred her to several different dogs, we bred her to Boerboel, we bred her to some of our ends, but we have several different samplings of the genetic package. So when we get into Dopernina, you can see, let's take a look at this dog, 309 Bruno, so I can get you a better idea of what we're working with, because this was a super duper dog. This was a super duper dog. He looked so good. He looked so good. No, we ain't got no more pictures. I'm on the wrong thing. Okay. Well, yeah, we don't have any more pictures of him, but let's continue to browse. And this is how you do your homework. This is how you do your research. Thank you to John Doe. Mass shout out to him for maintaining this for us all to use, and Boerboel Pedigree database. Martins, Dr. Boella. I know that this is a prominent producer. I've seen some of the dogs that he produced. Oh, Dapper Butch. We got another one. I think we just saw that dog. Let's take a look. So we saw 4 different prominent males that was produced off of, we go Dapper Butch, I believe. Yeah. Oh no, Dapper Boella, Dapper Nandy. He's not off of but look, both of these, I think both of those dogs, if I'm not mistaken, are half brother sister off of Dapper Nina. So they saw her value and her ability to produce, and they did a tight line breeding. This is, yeah, Dapper Nina on the bottom. Oh, it's not two Dapper Nina, but it's still Dapper Nina granddaughter. Half brother sister off of Corner Bucks. My mistake. I done got a little bit rusty in my pedigree. We just going over this today for y'all. But like I said, take a look. Remember, I was just talking about this also. This is one of my girls here. I think this is I think that's Cabaret Mitzi. Right here. That's a Cabaret dog. They say Dr. Hitler. But I believe that's a Cabaret dog. I don't use this database that much, so I'm not as familiar. I don't know. So talk with me, board buddies. What do y'all think about the inclusion to accept the blue Boerboels? I mean, we talk so much about the breed standard. Why is this all of a sudden a thing now? Why is this so much of a thing? The blue dogs. Let's get off. No, hold on. Before we get into the blue dogs, let me finish this up. One of the issues with oversized females, they have slower recovery and poorer mothering. We talked about that in my experience with Lord, Exotics Lord. Also, look at the experience that we had with Afeni. One of our favorite dogs, Afeni, was not. Remember, we had to go to the vet, multiple C-sections. Then she had that tear out with her with Simba. And now we're looking at her like, I mean, she hasn't had, we missed them last 3 breedings with Afeni. She had long labor, three-day labor, had to have a C-section. We lost 12 out of 17 puppies. That's a perfect example. And we love that dog. I love that dog, Afeni. That's one of my favorite dogs. That's me. And remember, we had got into it with the man, and she bit the assailant, and we had got into a scuffle, and he cut my arm right there. Oh, I got my arm cut by that. See, y'all gotta don't forget, not right there. That's the red. That's the red part. But this part right here. And I ain't getting no stitches or nothing, but that was due to someone trying to break and steal something off my property, and come past the dog, and the dog got him. You know, me and the dude got into it because I wanted to know what was he doing back there. Me and him got into it, and he sliced me with something. But that's like I said, when you go through something like that, that enhances the bond, your feeling, in your relationship for the dog. Reason that we prefer the smaller female is because they are better whelpers, better mothers, because they think about the last 2 breedings that we just completed, the last 2 litters that we just had with Peppa and Roxy. Roxy delivered 9 puppies, no C-section, natural breeding, natural whelp. Same thing with Peppa. She had 13 puppies over the course of 2 days, 10 puppies. There we go, family. Yes. Tim, thank you for the contribution. Yes. Leela did amazing with her first litter. This is genetic. It's in her. It's highly likely when a female is coming from a good female, what they call a brood bitch, when she comes from one of those cornerstones, the likelihood of being able to produce, remember, we're trying to secure a bloodline. We're trying to secure a legacy. We're trying to secure the future. So you have this female, and her maternal instincts, if they're strong, she's very clean, very cautious. Remember, we want a mothering dog, a mother female should be careful. She should be gentle, nurturing. And she's carrying and displaying full of milk. Fertility is high, 10 puppies, man. That's great. That is great. That's awesome, man. Natural litter, natural birth. And those puppies was pretty impressive, Tim. When you were able to see that, but it comes from a long line. Our dogs are going back to this same Doppernina that I was just talking about, Korma Bucks, Doppernina. All of our dogs go back to that very prominent breeding in Boerboel history. So we're talking 30 years ago now. 30 years ago, those maternal instincts, the type and the variety, because we have different varieties within this breed, that style of dog has proven itself time and time again. The success of the exotic bloodline is due to the fact that we have these females who came in strong with these females. That's just my opinion. It's not due to all of the different males that we use. It's the females that's producing. And we can give you examples because we use several different sires. Now, if your female is able to produce, you can always say, oh, you caught lightning in the bottle. That was a by chance, that was a fluke. But if you see that this female is able to produce time in, time and time again, that should be an indicator that this dog is pretty, this bloodline is solid. Now that we have really spoke on that, I'm gonna get off into that standard thing because it's really interesting to me. And I talked about this often. I talked about this many times. And that's why I say don't get caught up in a standard alone. Don't let that be your be all end all. Don't get blinded. Don't worship the standard. Because, like I said, the standard is evolving. They'll recognize the issues, and it happens in a lot of different breeds. Even if it doesn't change on paper, it will change in the way that it is judged. And it's evident in multiple breeds. If you look at the Rottweiler, if you look at the Shepherd, they desire a certain curve in the rear. And you see what happens is that it gets exaggerated, more exaggerated, more exaggerated. And it has nothing to do with mimicking the standard. It's who is the most, it's what's preferred, and it kind of floats. And you see a lot of breeds have gotten away from their true original form. Not just the Boerboel, not just the Bulldog, not just the German Shepherd. It's a lot of different breeds that suffer from. So we want to be conscious and aware when we're developing a breeding program. What is our goal? Your standard as a breeder, and I'm talking to the breeders. I'm not only talking to the breeders, I'm talking to the owners. I'm talking about the enthusiasts. When you're looking at these dogs and you're looking and evaluating these different programs, what is important to you? What is important to you in a dog that you seek to include and add to your family? And then what is the dog have? What is the breeder aiming to produce? Does that align with your goals and ambitions? These are the type of considerations that you need to make before acquiring a puppy. I was talking with a guy, and we ain't gonna name no specific names, but he had got a dog from said breeder. He was a little bit disappointed with the dogs, and he called me up to talk about it. The dog had some health issues, and it wasn't addressed. When he got the dog, it wasn't the same dog that he originally picked. And without naming no names, that I asked the man, I said, well, does the dog have, I don't want to even give off no hint, but was the dog have everything that the breeder advertised? Yes. It was a couple of different things. And I'm like, well, I told, I don't understand. How can you be upset? He never was saying that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and my dog going to be able to run, my dog going to be able to do all of these things. It wasn't advertised that way. So what led you to expect or to believe something different than the dog was delivered as advertised? So you got to pay attention, because does that align with your goals and ambitions? Are you, right? You want to make it all make sense. Because remember, you're going to get basically that dog's legacy and history, the dog that it is in front of you, as well as the dogs that's behind it. And if the breeder is saying, I'm selecting for ABC, that's important to me, and then delivers on ABC, you can't be mad, because you got exactly what you asked for, exactly what the people what was the dog was as advertised. So it can be problematic. I want to get into this shifting goalpost in the breeding standard, because the standard is evolving over time. That's why it's so important for you to have your own standard. Stop being so worried and trying to criticize other people's dog, The breeder should be able, instead of saying, "Oh, well, that have too many wrinkles," or "that dog, the dog is not tall enough," or "that dog is short," "the dog has got bigger bones," or because that's not what you have, and you busy worried and criticizing somebody else's program instead of focusing on what's right in front of you. And I'm going somewhere with that, boy, buddies. But so stay tuned. These evolving standards, the standard is ever shifting, and that's why it can't be the be all end all for the breed. Most legends in this breed, there's never been a perfect dog. There have never been a dog that 100% mimics the standard. Every dog has a flaw. It's a goal. It's a guide, right? It's not a rule book. It's not. And I might get criticized for that because I do my own thing. I have the desire for us, exotic Boerboel family, remember, toes to nose, the complete Boerboel, head to feet, toes to nose. We're looking for we're looking at and evaluating every component of the dog, not just the head. I got a new video coming out. We're going to compare two breeds. Y'all stay tuned for that. We're going to two dogs that I have as exotic Boerboel family. We're going to use Tigger and Booby as an example. I feel like Booby is a great dog. He's very balanced. He can run long distance. He's a natural breeder, right at 163 pounds, which is a large dog. He can pull heavy weights. He's got great protective instincts. I think that he's very balanced. He's not exaggerated. He doesn't have extreme bone. He doesn't have an extremely large head. Everything is very well proportioned. I call him a balanced and complete. He really is close to my ideal. Then I'm going to compare him to Tigger. Tigger is a larger dog with big, strong bones, thick bones, intense drive. He lacks endurance and stamina, which is a sacrifice due to his size. And I'm going to compare those. I should be finished editing that video in the next 3 days, Saturday, Sunday. Look for that next week. Just to cover over, we're getting ready to close it out. If anybody got any Rip Balto, woo, what's up, Boerboel? Duh. R.I.P. Balto, long live Balto forever. Balto, I got some Balto puppies coming up. I got the Balto sons, 9, 10 months old. They looking extremely impressive. Got an example. I didn't get to share this one today, but it's in my phone. Y'all want to see. But right now, I'm going to take some questions. Open it up. Anybody got any questions? What's going on with bro? There you go. What's up, D? But yeah, if anybody have any questions, now will be the time to answer them. If you have any questions, now will be the time to ask. Getting ready to close out. I just want to make sure I'm going to do a quick recap. Make sure that we cover all of the points. First and foremost, the most valuable dog for breeding is going to be that refined female, because the oversized, extra large dog is going to have a lot of complications. Those dogs tend to be not the best mothers. They don't have as much stamina and endurance when it comes to whelping puppies. They're going to give you longer and labors. They tend to run out of gas and require C-sections. Whereas that smaller female, the thinner bone female, she's going to have easier to deliver puppies. She's going to be having better maternal instincts. She's going to be able to have better stamina and endurance due to her not being able to run out of gas. We covered two prominent females of the breed, Dr. Nina and Leo Young. Almost everybody got one of those dogs that's in their pedigrees. If you look at, well, I'll say that everybody that has dogs that I find attractive visually, aesthetically, tends to carry those two ancestors. All of the dogs that fit into my qualifications for breeding dogs tend to have either of those two ancestors. A lot of the middle pose dogs have those Leo Nia, Dapper Nina. And we also went into we covered a little bit of inbreeding depression. We talk about how they're moved towards including the dilutes in the breed, going back to the diversity of the breed. We talk about how diversity is important, and this is something that one of the lessons that we can learn from other breeds that have failed before us. Inbreeding is a bad thing. We already see several different health issues becoming prominent in the breed, shortened lifespans. I know we lost Yogi as well, which was over in the UK, a prominent producer. I don't know if he was here or over there, but he was bred from there. We showed y'all two legendary females that shaped the breed. We talked about their bloodlines. We showed some examples of ancestors just to get an idea of what is their capabilities, how these smaller dogs were still able to produce valuable specimens, valuable breeding specimens. Because, and if you don't know what the inbreeding depression is, that is when you start to have expressed faults, lower fertility, unstable temperaments, and that occurs in a lot of different breeds. You start to see the fertility rates go down. One of the good things about our breed and our particular bloodline and family of dogs, we've able to maintain our health and fertility by using outside bloodlines. Females are the foundation of your breeding program. Don't ever let anybody tell you different. If you desire a good dog, start with your female. If you desire to be a breeder, you want to start with a female that comes from producing females. You want to start with a female that has that history, that documented history. And we're not listening. We may consider the males, but we're looking at the common mom. Which mom is known for producing those type of desired traits and characteristics? We talked about the dilute, the controversy. Okay, remember how they slipped? I tell you about how they slid that black dog in, because remember the South Africans, they trying to supplement their income due to the end of apartheid. And oh, what do y'all think about they just let off her? But that ain't, we ain't gonna get into politics because this ain't no political show. It is no politics. But yeah, there was just to supplement the income. It was a cash grab when they decided to include the black dog. It was a cash grab. Is this a cash grab with the inclusion? Okay, here we go. Thank you for the question, bro. Butcher Boerboels would like to know. Butcher Boerboels, Wyoming would like to know. If you have a big female that in my eyes and other people's eyes is pretty fit, are you still going to have problems with birth? Hopefully not, family. I know that you're concerned with that extra large dog that you have. And I think that was one of the things that we said we would like to see her tucked in around the abdomen a little more, if I'm not mistaken, due to her appraisal. But yeah, try to get that dog where she can remember. She's gonna have to push out puppies every 45 minutes. You're bringing in that Africa Tarzan sperm semen, and I think that right now, in order to prepare for your dog to have those puppies that have that very special litter, I will really be trying to exhaust her, getting her ready like she's getting ready for athletic performance. You won't be able to do much of that as she gets into her prenatal phase. You're gonna have to slow it down. But so right now you can prepare. I will be trying to exercise my female as much as possible. So that way when she does get into that labor, and which is it's labor, it's a physical process, it's a physically demanding process, she'll be able to push those puppies right out, and she'll have strong contractions. We don't want her to get too tired and fatigued when it's time for her to have the puppies. So you want to make sure that, right now I'll be trying to do as much as I can in terms of increasing her level of fitness. Think about her win. I would be looking to get the dog down to maybe 160, run into that 160, 159 height 150 range. Get her physique, cut the meals back a little bit. You know, use some commands because remember, you want to challenge her mentally. You want to keep her stressed less as possible. You want to have her healthy and happy. The happier, the healthier that the dog is, the more fertile that she's going to be. When the dog is stressed out, that's when you start to have a lot of complications when it comes to conception, the breeding. I hope that I thought you had a real question. Okay, yeah, that was the question right there. If you have a big female and it's pretty fit, my eyes and other people's eyes, are you still going to have problems birthing? It is a possibility. It's a strong possibility. And Vivi is 2 years old, I believe. But yeah. So I hope that helps you out the best that I can, my brother. Remember, fitness is key, and that's one of the virtues of our exotic Boerboel family and the family of dogs. The fact that they can, if called to do so, run for miles, work for days, work for hours. That is important to us. So that, remember that you want to cultivate that and pass that on to your puppies. You're going to call in great demands for her circulatory system, respiratory system, things like that. So because of that, we want to make sure that the dog is fit. And so yeah, I hope that helped you. Bro want to know, Dub want to know how come he didn't get one of them super pups that you got. Dog, you got some pups in there that look so good. Read 7-month-old male puppy. I would say that's a tricky question. If you're gonna breed a 7-month-old male puppy, I would say no. That's too young. You can't really see what that dog is able to produce. Give him a little bit more time. Don't rush it. If it's a male, you may be able to produce, but his sperm might not be the highest quality that it would be once he reaches maturity. So you might have like deformed heads, deformed, sperm, semen heads. I would say no. I'm gonna say no on that one. You want to give a male you want to have it be complete and fully mature. All right, so that's about it on the questions. No doubt, family. I hope that helps. That's what we here for. And in closing, I just wanted to say a couple things for everybody's be back again. We're going to be coming on strong. We got some outstanding litters coming up, information coming up. I got a special guest. Remember how we do this. This is an informational. This is not a promotion. It's information. This is about sharing and preparing the next generation. We want to let you know that you can do anything. There's nothing that you cannot do. Don't let nobody tell me that you can't. Let me be an example. Because remember, they told me that I didn't have the intelligence, that I didn't know what it took to breed dogs. I didn't have the experience. But what you don't know, you can learn. And they will underestimate you. They'll come on and they'll attack you. They'll try to bully you. But boy buddies, listen, let me tell you this. This is for the younger junior board, the young puppy board buddies. Don't let nobody tell you what you cannot do. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And that's coming straight from the bottom of my heart. Learn from me. They might be bigger than you, but every dog have his day. So you keep on working and staying consistent. Because this one thing that I know for sure, a litter of puppies will change your life. And if you keep on working at it and keep on doing what you have to do, I mean, you could have great success. You knock off 3 puppies, 3 litters at one time, you talking about like clearing 100K right quick. And it's not unrealistic to do that. Thanks everybody. Auntie Jan, You always come with the most. Thank you so much for being who you are. No, I don't have no problem. And then, bruh, Wyoming Boerboels, Tim, Wayne, Doug, everybody that joined, Boerboel Dub. Who else was in here today? In the chat, Philip Donald, thank you for leading Celestial Being. Joe, everybody that joined. Oh, don't let me forget my bro Thomas. What's up, y'all? I appreciate y'all for coming and kicking it with me. Have fun again. I miss doing this. Hey, now that I got some free time, some spare time, I'm gonna make sure that I do my due diligence. Another thing that I wanted to say before I go is it's never gonna be perfect. But you know what you do? You practice, practice, you prepare, and that way you can go at any time at the drop of a dime. Hey, look, it might not be perfect, but hey, I'm willing to bet on myself. You might not always win either, boy, buddies. And you gotta be willing to accept that. But you could never lose as long as you walk away with a lesson. And with that being said, I'm getting ready to pull off. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We're running up on the hour. I'm gonna give y'all 4 more minutes. If anybody got any more questions, now would be the time. He said a 350-pound man. What? So if anybody have any questions, now will be the time. If not, I'm gonna pull off, get into the rest of my evening and hang out with my puppies a little bit and enjoy the rest of this daylight. One of the things that we always do, don't forget this. It don't cost a dime to be kind. Remember, little things make a big difference.